Hi, I'm Aidan Brown, and we're here today with Zinhle Mavuso on Legally Speaking. And we are going to answer some very important questions about what goes down at the CCMA. And this is obviously one of South Africa's most popular legal topics. We have a very vibrant employment market. It is very well regulated, a lot of legislation around how you can employ people, the ways in which it's controlled, and all that kind of thing. And people are often seeking advice on what to do when they find trouble in the workplace, be it that it's some kind of legal issue, maybe they're being harassed. And so the CCMA is a kind of court, is that right? And people often end up there to resolve their employment issues. So I've brought Zinhle Mavuso from Popela Maake attorneys, and she's going to help us today to learn a little bit more about what goes down at the CCMA, how you would go about opening up a case there, what relevant information there is to know, what's good to know, and if there's any particular tips or advice that she would give to somebody that might need assistance from them. So welcome, Zinhle.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks so much. It's so lovely to have you. We're always looking for someone that's obviously an expert in the field.
Ooh, expert is a strong word.
Yeah, I do know that you obviously come from a very reputable law firm. I know that you are well qualified. And so I'm sure that you'll be able to walk us through, at the minimum, the basics. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, where would you start? So let's say you've got somebody, they have been working for an employer for a relatively significant amount of time. Mm-hmm. Some kind of employment issue arises in the workplace and they feel they might need assistance from the CCMA. Mm-hmm. Where do they go? So
there would be two instances, or if not three. The first is in an instance of an unfair dismissal, right? Do you feel that you were unfairly dismissed based off of a misconduct, or you weren't given proper notice, or you don't even know the reasons why you were dismissed in the first place? In terms of unfair dismissal claims, you have 30 days from the date of that dismissal to approach the CCMA. Okay, right?
1 month window.
Yeah, 1 month window. And remember, with CCMA legislation, it's that they also count it's calendar days, so it's not just business days. A lot of people get mixed up with, it's Monday to Friday, and then you're just going to skip Saturday and Sunday. And that's where people's claims kind of then extinguish or prescribe.
Okay.
Right? So it's 30 days that you have from the date of your dismissal. In terms of unfair labor practices, so you were being harassed, or you feel that you were supposed to be promoted, but then you weren't for whatever reason. In terms of unfair labor practices, you have 90 days from the date that incident arose, or you perceive it to have arisen, right? Then in terms of instances where there's discrimination involved, so issues relating to you were unfairly treated because of your gender, because of your race, whatever it is, you then have 6 months. 6 months
okay.
from the date of that incident arising to approach the CCMA.
Okay, so it really depends on the nature of the cause. 30 days, 90 days, or 6 months.
Yes. So you have to be very, very careful about meeting those timeframes, right? Because if you don't meet them, then you're going to have to do another whole process of applying for what's called condonation. Condonation being you asking the CCMA to please forgive the late referral of your claim, right? So act quickly. If something happens, act quickly so that you don't have to go through that whole headache of doing condonation, because that becomes a more difficult threshold to meet. If they reject your condonation, your claim won't be heard, right? And you're dead in the water.
Okay, that makes complete sense.
Cool. So you go, approaching the CCMA is you would Google LRA 711 form. What that form is that it's referring your matter to the CCMA, right?
Okay.
Or you can actually go to the CCMA because they are there to help you. You go there and then they'll be able to give you a copy of the form. They'll be able to help you complete it and then also do the service processes, which I'll also outline a bit later on.
So as long as you act within the either 30, 60...
and the 6 months?
The 30-day, 3 month, 6 month window, you can fill in the form, the LRA form. This can be done online, is that correct?
It can be done online. Well, you would have to print it. You can fill it in through your PDF, app, or you just print it out, you fill it in by hand, it's perfectly fine, whichever way you prefer it. You'd fill it in with all the particular details, and then your job is to serve it on the employer, right?
Okay.
So, and you have to show proof to the CCMA that you've served it on the employer.
I understand.
So if you're emailing it to them,
you need a response.
You would give the response. Sometimes they don't respond. They're going to
Of
make your
course.
job a bit difficult. But you would make sure that you have proof that you served it on the other side. And then you take the proof of your service and then your referral form and then give it back to the CCMA.
But you could also potentially ask a law firm like Popela, Maake attorneys to serve it on your behalf.
Yes.
Okay. And so you can do it via the form that you would print out, and you can obviously also go to the offices directly and they'll help you do that kind of thing. What would be the next couple of steps? Just to very briefly explain, you get there, you hand in the form, what happens next?
You wait for a date of hearing. The first step you'll get from the CCMA. First step will be your conciliation. Conciliation is a more informal meeting. Lawyers normally aren't allowed in that process, to try and see if the parties can, before we get to arbitration, if we can figure things out and reach a settlement. If that fails, you'll get a certificate of outcome which confirms that the conciliation has failed, and then you'd have to get another form, which is the LRA 713, which refers the matter to arbitration. And then that is where things become a bit more formal.
I completely understand. So there's a mediation step where they try and resolve it amicably, maybe to come to some kind of financial agreement or a settlement of some sort. After that, there's a new LR form that needs to be filled in, and then things escalate a little bit. Now it becomes a little bit of an argument.
Yes.
If things have escalated and you get into the little bit of an argument stage, post LR form number 2, have you got any tips or tricks or things that you would suggest to people once it escalates to this sort of point?
Sure. So what I always tell my clients is it'll be helpful for you to do a list or chronology of events, right? Because with people that don't have the proper legal training, or they get nervous, they get flustered, they start losing track of their story. Having a document that has your dates, this is the first instance of harassment, this is when I was dismissed, this is when whatever, that'll help you present your case in a logical manner to the commissioner. Also, you'd have to have any documentation, texts, WhatsApp, screenshots, anything that you feel will be relevant to your case. You bring it with you, bring copies for the commissioner, you bring copies for the other side as well, being your employer. If you need witnesses, make sure you contact them beforehand to make sure that they will be available. It would be a waste because the CCMA role is burdensome. It is clogged, right? So if you miss your date today, you're going to be looking at getting another date maybe months later. So you need to make sure that you're capitalizing on the dates that you are actually set so that you're not wasting your time and sitting at home, getting unpaid where you actually have a valid claim. So prepare your witnesses. If you need them through the employer, they are supposed to make them available for you. And just rehearse your story. And remember that the commissioner is there to help you at all times.
Wow, that's some fantastic advice. You've really laid it out nice and simply. Act within the time frame, essentially. I'll try and get it right this time. 30 days, 3 months, or 6 months. You'll fill in the LR
Can I correct? It's 30 days.
30 days?
30 days, 90. Yeah, so no, you're right.
So okay.
30 days, 90 days, and then 6 months.
Yeah, the bottom line is get in terms of the time frame. Very important. You'll fill in your LR form. You can download it. You can go into the offices. They'll assist you. The CCMA is there to help. As Zinhle says, they're quite overclogged, but they do their best to assist people, and they do get through quite a lot of numbers of claims, to what I understand. And just make sure that you have all your facts in a row, utilize your time in the court adequately, don't go unprepared. And if you need help with something like serving papers or gathering information, or maybe just a little bit of advice on the process, what to do on the day, or how the mediation step works, contact a reputable law firm, speak to someone like Zinhle Mavuso at Popela Maake Attorneys, and that's all there is to it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. welcome and thank you for joining us at Legally Speaking. Have a great day ahead. Bye for now.